Good morning. If anybody watches this video, it's morning for me. A very rainy morning. Um, it's been raining for like a week and a half straight where I am in New York City. So that's definitely kind of affecting the mood. Um, I've had some thoughts circling about um, families and like dysfunctional families, or what we perceive as dysfunctional families. Like I've heard from other people who are, possibly star seeds also that, um, they always felt like an outsider in their family, like the black sheep or, seeing the elephant in the living room. That was definitely my experience. Um, every interaction of the relationship felt really cold, still do. Um, with my grandparents, it was kind of like 50-50. It was be like nurturing, like trying to feed me stuff, and then at the same time ridicule me for something. So it was kind of I take what I can get from them, and then it hurts. Um, so I was kind of wondering, um, why, I've heard like star seeds are intentionally plopped into certain families, certain dynamics. Um, And I always say, like, my family doesn't love me, right? They don't care about me. They've been so neglectful. Looking back, always felt like I was isolated, like I was always by myself. I would have like some friends, and then they would just disappear, and moved around a lot. And it would just be constantly like, um, come like temporarily and then poof, gone. It would be just constantly all the time. No security, no consistency. So I found comfort in like creative pursuits. Like I always needed to have an outlet, like a creative outlet. I still do. um and so it makes me wonder, like, I grew up without love. I don't know what love is at all. Like, how can I be a star seed spreading love? I have no idea what love is. My dog taught me love in my 20s, and I got her. Um, and it makes me kind of think, well, now still, since Ascension started, especially, but like looking back, there's a reason why I was always pulled towards learning more about Buddhism and spirituality and yoga and meditation. And since it's been over like 10 years already. Um, and, there's, just think of like, I've moved back with my parents a year ago. Um, I've lived on my own for a long time, and I felt like I just realized that I've been running from them all this time instead of really facing all the issues. So I was kind of in a place, in a very, very lonely place, because I moved overseas to get away from them, to try to start a new life. And being there, I felt so lonely, loneliest I've ever been, that it thrusted me to go. Like, it was better to live with my parents than to live in that level of loneliness. Um, and I also felt like it was time to face everything. And then that's when the ascension happened, or the path to ascension. Um, but it makes me think, like, okay, on the 3D human side, feels like there's no love. But at the same time, thinking like they spread so much toxicity, that means they absorb it as well. They carry it. So I mean, like, they have to carry it, and in their habits. Like, I look at my parents and the things that they say, might be negative, or like their habits, like their eating habits, like they're hurting themselves. But watching that, I feel kind of helpless because there's nothing I can do. So it triggers me. And then now the only way I can cope is to go meditate. Or some of the things my parents would say triggers me. And I just decided not to even say anything. I just go to my room and I meditate. Well, if they weren't triggering me, like I wouldn't be motivated to go meditate. If they didn't have all these behaviors, if they, if things were not so cold and neglectful, I wouldn't have been motivated to find Buddhism or spirituality, all these teachings. um and so it feels like before it felt like, why is all these people just feels like they're sharks swimming around me? Parents, my brother, my relatives, grandparents. It just feels like everybody's against me. Everybody's like just trying to like crush me, and I just like I'm constantly fighting off. But then now I'm like thinking they're playing this role. Maybe they've agreed before they took on this life that they're going to play this role. They're going to play the bad guy in a sense. They're going to play the toxic one. They're going to play the abuser, the one that like for them, like the only way to cope sometimes with their emotions, like they have to drink alcohol, right? I go to meditate. They go to have a sip of vodka, a shot of vodka or cognac or whatever, or food. So it's like it's like a sacrifice. Like they're sacrificing their well-being to thrust me into a place where I don't have a choice but to meditate and go within. Like there is no where to go. Like I've even tried to like reach out. 2 years ago, I tried to like reconnect with relatives that live in another country. And a fight happened there. I'm like, what is this fight even about? And then it's like I thought the fight was over, and then a year later I'm still hearing about it. So I had to like remove these people. Like I really wanted them in my life. And I'm like, I don't know why they're even so angry. And then other relatives like that I try to reconnect with, and I moved to another country where they live. And the whole time I was there, they had no care for me. They never like contacted to see how I'm doing. I would message them like happy holidays and never even invited me for dinner or anything like that. And but if they did, I would have maybe stayed longer, right? So it's like maybe all these souls, I don't know, 10, 15, however, 20 of them kind of have this agreement and understanding that they have to stay away from me, or they have to like push me away from all sides so that I can go in then each time, and then I can ascend. So it's like, that's love. Like who would do that, right? Who would take on so much negative energy? Who would play the pawn, so to speak? Like who do you know in it's like the human that would take on this much hate? There's one person. And toxicity for the greater whole, right? So, because to help somebody ascend, it's like helping the greater whole. So that's love to me. Like that's incredible love. That's love in a super spiritual sense. Like it's like a lot of times I hear people like making the heart shapes, sending hearts, kisses, hugs, and all these kind of expressions of love. And it's like, imagine the amount of love that you're willing to sacrifice your well-being so that the other one can be thrusted to help the greater whole. That's love on a spiritual plane, that's kind of how I'm starting to see it. Like sacrifice, that's real sacrifice for the greater whole. That's love, that's how I see it. And so it hurts much less thinking of my parents don't love me, my family doesn't care about me, they're always against me. In the physical sense, it's maybe it seemed that way. They're always ridiculing me, they're putting me down, but all of that negativity is kind of pushes me towards myself, towards my center. If they weren't doing that, I wouldn't be motivated at all to go meditate. Yeah, well, let me know what you guys think.